Good afternoon. My name is Emily McKinley. I'm the Deputy Chief for Louisville Metro Police Department. So today we're going to go over an update from an officer-involved shooting that occurred in the 1600 block of Lincoln Avenue, and that was on April 26th. Again, everything I say right now is very preliminary. This is still an ongoing investigation. This is also an active criminal investigation. There were charges that were placed on an individual based off of this incident. So this is active in court, and everything that we say right now is preliminary, and there is still an ongoing investigation. So things can change. On April 26th at approximately 10:30 p.m., LMPD officers responded to a 911 call from a home in the 1600 block of Lincoln Avenue. The caller said a male in the home was intoxicated, had gotten into an argument with someone else inside the home, had retrieved a firearm and armed himself, and also during that 911 call, fires a shot into the floor of the home. When officers arrived on scene, the male was in the driveway, and officers encountered the male in the driveway. He was armed with that firearm. The male placed the gun to his head and engaged with officers verbally. He was visibly distraught during this engagement, and others were still hiding inside of the house. Officers knew that they had to get those individuals out of that house and get them to safety. They were still on the phone with 911 callers as officers were in their driveway. Officers acted very quickly, and they did get some of the individuals outside to safety. However, one individual still remained inside the home, and so an officer went inside the home to protect that person and to get that person outside of that house. While inside that home, the man re-enters the home and encounters the officer. The officer instructs the man to drop the weapon, which he does not, and he strikes him in the arm. The officer fires his gun and strikes him in the arm. The man was then taken to University of Louisville Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. He has since been booked into Louisville Metro Department of Corrections with charges. Our Public Integrity Unit is the lead on this investigation. So we're going to go over some 911 calls. We're going to also show some body-worn camera video from the officer that's involved here. But first, I want to go over the Graham factors. So this is from Graham versus Connor, a United States Supreme Court case that established circumstances to assess the objective reasonableness of all officer-involved force and uses of force by police officers. So when officers are using force, they are going to assess the severity of the crime, the immediacy of the threat, the resistance level posed, and any potential flight. So if you recall, the subject in this case had already fired his gun into the floor, was armed with a gun, and was refusing officers' orders. So this is the circumstances that the officers were faced with. Again, this is another thing that is repetitive in our presentations on officer-involved shootings. So it's important that you all know our safety priorities, and we go over these with officers continuously. So this is a constant conversation in our agency. It's a constant conversation at roll calls, at trainings, and in conversations regarding tactical decisions in the moment. And so who is in the most imminent danger at the time, and who can control that situation now? And so, and that kind of progresses through this line of progression. So victims and hostages have the least amount of control over the situation that they're in. Ultimately, the suspect has the most control through compliance with the directions from the officers. This is the officer that was involved in this officer-involved shooting. This is Sergeant Chris Pettigo. He has been with LMPD for 17 years. He's assigned to LMPD's 6th Division. He is a sergeant, patrol sergeant, so he supervises a squad of officers. He discharged his assigned patrol rifle one time, and he did strike the suspect in the arm. He is on paid administrative leave pending this investigation, which is normal protocol in any of these instances. Our suspect that's involved, his name is Daniel Gish. He is a white male. He is 55 years old. He was transported to the University of Louisville Hospital. He has since been released. He was released yesterday and booked at corrections. He is charged with wanton endangerment first of a police officer. Okay, so this next slide I'm going to play the 911 call. This is a call for service from inside the home. This call is about 4 minutes in length. It has been redacted to protect some personal information, but this does capture the intensity and what was going on in the moment and the stress that was experienced by the people inside the home at the moment. So I'll play this. This is a very powerful 911 call.
Operator Meriwether, where is your emergency?
Lincoln Avenue.
That's Lincoln Avenue, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it the house or an apartment?
It's a house.
What's your name, ma'am? And what's your phone number? Tell me exactly what's going on.
So my dad started banging on the door. Him and my mom were having an argument, and he threatened to kill himself. And he went downstairs. He took a gun. We all heard. It's through us in my room right now, and we're scared. Not only for his safety, but for everybody else in the house.
Yeah.
We heard that it's to be assumed to be the cop.
So you're saying you heard the guns go off?
Not go off, but like,
You heard him get the gun?
yeah, and he was extremely drunk.
Okay. What's your father's name?
Gish.
How do I spell his last name?
Gish.
What race is he?
White. Male.
And you said that he is drunk right now and he has a gun.
Yes, ma'am.
What's he weighing?
What did you want?
What just happened, ma'am? Did he just shoot someone, ma'am? Okay, I need you to answer what he's wearing.
We don't know.
Okay, I need you to get yourself, he's wearing an orange what?
An orange t-shirt and an orange
I
jacket.
need you guys to try to get somewhere safe. Where can you get it? Okay, are there other people there with you? Okay, are you all able to get yourself to get in the closet or get away from where you all are? Okay. With him happening again, I need you to try to take a deep breath and try to keep yourself as quiet as you can so that you cannot get to where you are. Give me 1 second, I'm trying to get them there to you, but like I say, try to keep yourself as quiet as you can. And when he shot to the floor, nobody was hit, right? Okay. Okay. Where is he in the house? You said he's in the basement?
No, he was in the kitchen. We were in your notice center. He's out right now.
Okay, so you and your mom and her friend are in the bathroom?
We are in the bedroom. We are in my room.
Are you able to lock?
It is locked. Yes.
Okay, they're already on their way. I just want you guys to try to stay in there and stay safe. I'm going to stay on the phone with you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so you can see the fear that was occurring inside that bedroom and the unknown that was going on outside that door, waiting for the officers to arrive. And so as that 911 call is coming in, as the 911 call taker is taking that call. The call taker is relaying that information to the dispatcher that's communicating to officers who are arriving on scene. And so this video is of Sergeant Pedigo arriving on scene. He's arriving with other officers simultaneously, and you'll see that they make their way up to the house and they encounter the man in the driveway. Eventually, then you'll see Sergeant Pedigo make entry to the house, and then Mr. Gish also make entry to the house, and that's where the officer-involved shooting occurs. So, we'll play this body cam video.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lincoln, come to the front bedroom or right side house. See where looking at house. Front bedroom on the right side of the house.
Should be two now, right? So 11:14, right? Clear the store.
Hey, Montana, Lincoln, caller was not sure what caller is to be done. Come on, baby, that's fine.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Hey, drop the gun! No! Fuck you! Drop it, man. What's going on, man? Talk to me. Talk with me. Talk with me. Talk with me, man. Daniel. Hey, drop the gun. Hey, drop the gun, man. Do me a favor. Drop it for me, man. Drop it for me, man. Please. Daniel, my name's Jacob. Daniel. Daniel, my name's Jacob, man. My name's Jacob. What's going on? What's going on, Daniel? What's going on? Tell me, man. What's going on? Talk with me, man. I don't want you to do this, man.
Let's back up. Let's slowly back up. It's just him. Just him. I'm gonna go across. I'm gonna go across. I'm gonna go across. Get them out of the house. Get them out of the house. Fuck. Somebody inbound code 3, shot fired. Yeah. Huh? Yes. I got it, yeah. Oh, I shot out his hand. This is what I'm from. Find it. Find it. I shot it out of his hand. I went flying. Right here, right here. Got it. Right here. It's probably. Hey, cut it off. Hey, get serious. Serious. Where's he hit? He's in his wrist. Gun right here. All right, just step off. Station, I'm going to cancel totals, just so cuts down with McKay on store 612, please. Sorry, we're trying to let you know. It's okay. Good? I was trying to get the girl out of the cave.
Okay. So the next slide, I'll play that the shooting incident. It'll be slowed down a little bit. But if you heard, so even at the beginning, so Sergeant Pedigo is the sergeant of all the officers. He's the leader of the officers, and he's really commanding and instructing his officers what to do. He's telling them, you hear him at one point, I'm going to go to the 4 side. So in tactical scenarios, we label the sides of buildings 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's telling them when he went down that fence side, he's telling officers, I'm going to go down the 4 side to see if he can get a better vantage point, a better view of what's going on. He's really trying to take control of the situation. He's doing exactly what we want our sergeants to do. He did an outstanding job here leading people, protecting his officers, letting them know, hey, I'm inside the house. Here's why I'm going inside the house, to get the girl out, to get people out. So he did a fantastic job in being a sergeant in the role that he was and in this situation. So, and then the officers did outstanding work here as well, trying to plead with Mr. Gish to drop that weapon, to comply with them. They did not want to be in this situation, and then immediately going to render aid. It's exactly how we want officers to respond, and they did it extremely well here. So I'll slow this down a little bit for you all, just to get a better idea of what occurred when Sergeant Pedigo fired his weapon. I'll play it one more time for you all. Okay, so again, he's performing how he was trained. He put himself between Mr. Gish and then the female that was inside the house, so he didn't know where exactly she was, but he knew that there was another female that was inside the house that he needed to protect. And so what he's doing there is he's doing what we call plating. So he knew the female somewhere in that house. He knew that the back door is open and Mr. Gish could come inside that back door. So he needed to put his plates, so his body armor, between where the female might be and Mr. Gish. So he was willing to take that risk and put himself in between her and him to try to protect her and to keep everybody safe. And so that's exactly what he did in this situation. Obviously, victims, if you go back to our safety priorities, this aligns exactly with our safety priorities, putting that victim as our top priority and putting ourselves in front of that victim. And so that's what we saw here. While this is totally unfortunate that this happened, we don't ever want any officer involved in this. This has, I'm sure seeing this and hearing this, not just for Sergeant Pedigo, but all of the officers involved, I'm sure this has a visceral effect on them as well as the family that is involved here. Nobody wants to go through anything like this. However, we're grateful that no lives were lost and that no one else was injured. Our officers do outstanding work every day, just like this. These are calls that we get every day to protect people, and we put our lives on the line every day. Our officers do, and so we are grateful for them, and we're grateful for when we see training like this kicked in. We're really proud when we see that happen in this way. Even though we do, put our lives on the line and we strive to protect this community, what we need most, though, is continued help and support from our community. We alluded to some recent violent crime earlier before this press conference started, and we want to talk about that with you all. We work tirelessly every day to protect the community, keep people safe, protect constitutional rights, and we need help with solving some homicides. And so I want to go over that with you all, and then we'll get into some questions after that. So over the past 7 days, we've had 7 incidents that resulted in 7 people losing their lives. So 7 people have been killed over the past 7 days in Louisville. 3 others were injured. One of those injuries was very critical. And so I want to go over these 7 incidents to give you all a little better context to what's going on. Many of them we have cleared and we have solved with arrests. Some of those you are familiar with, but we do need the community's help with some of those, still with getting some information as far as what occurred and trying to provide some closure to families that have lost loved ones recently. So first, if we go back to last Wednesday, there was a homicide in the 600 block of South 28th Street. This is in LMPD's 1st Division. The victim was Montana Scott. He is a 20-year-old black male. He was deceased from multiple gunshot wounds. We need to help identifying suspects involved in this case. So anyone who has information about the shooting that took place in the 600 block of 28th Street last Wednesday on April 30th, we need help solving Montana's homicide. And then on the same day, we had another homicide in the 50,000 block of Popper Level Road, in LMPD's 6th Division. The victim was Joshua Melinda. He was a 37-year-old black male. We did make an arrest on that. I think we made the arrest yesterday or day before. So you all, I believe, have reported on that. So we have cleared that homicide. Then on Oaks Night, there was a double homicide. It was a triple shooting, actually, double homicide, and then one non-fatal shooting that occurred in the 2700 block of West Broadway. So this was in Kroger's parking lot. This is in the 1st Division. So 2 deceased individuals. One was a 28-year-old black male, one was a white female that was 21 years old, and then one non-fatal shooting, which was a 28-year-old black male as well. We need help solving that homicide. There were hundreds of people present when the shooting occurred. There were also several police officers present when the shooting occurred. Officers were on scene trying to clear this lot as this homicide occurred. There were several shots fired while officers were right on scene. We know that occurred in an area where there were people around. We understand that people ran and people fled when that happened. And we know that maybe you weren't able to talk to the police that night because maybe you ran or you left the scene. And we understand that. But if you were there and you saw something, heard something, or you heard somebody talk about it, we need to hear from you. We have grieving families. This is completely unacceptable. It was Oaks Night, a night that our city was celebrating one of the biggest events in sports in the world. And we want to solve this, and we want to provide some justice and closure for those families. So if you know anything about what happened on Broadway, I know there's several videos that are circulated on social media, so I know there are several people that were there. 574 LMPD, we need tips and we need information for that, and we know people that were there, and we know people have that. Then the next day in the 100 block of South 41st Street, we had another homicide. This appears to be domestic related. We do have all parties accounted for. We will conference this with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office to determine if there are charges in the future, but at this time that this is considered closed, we do know everybody that's involved. The other homicide that night on the 4th was in the 400 block of University Boulevard in the LMPD's 4th Division. We had 2 people that were shot. One of them died. We have spoke with all parties that are involved in this case as well, and we will consult with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office for potential charges in this one. So that case is also cleared. We know everybody that's involved. There could be potential arrests that come from that. Also on the 4th, in the 1600 block of Dixie Highway in LMPD's 2nd Division, Mr. Isaiah White was found with a gunshot wound and pronounced deceased. He was a 49-year-old black male. We have since arrested Jack Elliott. He is a white male, 48 years old, and charged him in relation to that homicide. So that homicide has been cleared as well. And then last night, we had a shooting in an apartment complex on Bold Forbes Road in LMPD's 3rd Division. The victim sustained a gunshot wound. He is in very critical condition at University of Louisville Hospital. However, we have arrested a suspect already in that case. Jamal Sheikh is who we placed charges on today. And in talking about that homicide, we've made an arrest, but we have not been able to identify our victim. And so one thing we're going to ask for you all and from the community is assistance in identifying our victim. I'm going to read some descriptors of our victim from this homicide on Bold Forbes Road, and we need the community's help in identifying him. So he is a black male. He is about estimated between 15 and 20 years old, very young black male. He was wearing a black Nike zip-up sweatshirt. He also had black pants on. He was also wearing black, gray, and white Jordan tennis shoes. He had an average height and a slim build. He had shoulder-length black hair, and he was wearing prescription glasses. If this matches the description of anybody's family member or friend who they have been unable to contact since about 6 p.m. last night, we are asking for some information to assist in identifying him. So again, a black male, 15 to 20 years old, a black Nike zip-up sweatshirt, black pants, black and gray and white Jordan tennis shoes, an average height, slim build, shoulder-length black hair, and prescription glasses. 574 LMPD is our tip line to give descriptions on that. Some updates on homicide numbers. So we have 38 homicides this year compared to 52 this time last year. That's a 25% decrease from this time last year. We are grateful for that decrease, but when we have weeks like this where we have several incidents back to back to back, that is heartbreaking, and it's heartbreaking for our detectives. It's heartbreaking for the community and the families that we encounter on a day-to-day basis when we have to deliver news like this. So we want to provide justice and closure to these families. And our clearance rate this year, our detectives are doing a great job. We've solved and cleared about 50% of our homicides this year. That is good and significant progress if you compare previous years, and that is all thanks to cooperation that we're getting from the community and the hard work that our officers are doing every single day to build those relationships in the community. And we are seeing that pay off in dividends by getting tips, by getting information, help from the media, by talking about homicides, engaging with the media, getting that information out there and asking for help. I think that's really paying off, and we're seeing that in the ways that we're able to make arrests, the ways we're able to provide some closure to our families. So thank you. And that is the end of that slideshow. I will take any questions related to the shooting or any of the homicides that you all have, or anything else.
The triple shooting at Kroger, that seems unusual. Was there something going on in that parking lot or in that area? Was it street racing, street takeover? Why so many
Right.
why so many people
So the question was, the triple shooting in the Kroger parking lot is unusual. Was there something going on in the area, like street racing? Why did it happen? There wasn't, street racing was not going on, but there was a large gathering of people in the area, and that's common for Derby. There was a lot of, not just in that area, but throughout the city, there was a lot of people congregating and having different events, and that is, an unusual thing that occurs on Broadway. And so there was a lot of people in the area. Officers were detailed to that area and were in that area as well. So it wasn't necessarily unusual. It was just a large gathering of people.
For the April 26th shooting, and we saw a little bit in the video, can you talk a little bit about kind of the differences in the trainings with when we saw Mr. Gish holding the gun to his head for maybe a mental health call
Yeah.
versus the danger to the other family members?
Right. So can we talk about training that officers receive when engaging people related to mental health crises issues, and then transitioning to like a tactical response? So officers receive training annually, related to mental health and behavioral health issues and CIT response. All of our officers are certified and are trained in CIT response and crisis response, so they are trained to try to de-escalate that situation, but they're also trained to react very quickly if they need to take a hands-on approach or take a different route if it turns a different way, and that's exactly what you saw here. So.
I know in the video they were saying that he was hitting the wrist. I think things were moving fast. Is that when the injury occurred?
Yes, it did occur. And the question was about, was he hitting the wrist? Yes, he was hitting the wrist. Yeah.
And then clarifying question about I don't know if you're able to speak on it, but the person who made the call, did she say that it was both her mom and her dad who were fighting?
Yes, the question was about the person that made the call. Was it her mom and dad? Yes, that's what was indicated.
That third individual that stayed in the house, can you confirm whether or not that was the person that called 911?
The person that stayed in the house, can I confirm whether or not that was the person that called 911? Yes, that the dispatchers were still on the phone with the person that was in the house.
Anything else, you guys?
Have you been called to that house before?
The question was, have we been called to that house before on Lincoln Avenue? I don't know the answer to that question.